Hi everyone, it's Jeff from GamerPops again. What's up? So hopefully you've seen our review of the new Nintendo 3DS XL by now, and if you haven't, please go check it out. In that review, I mentioned a game that I couldn't talk about at the time that takes advantage of some of its new features, but now with the new 3DS's imminent North American release and the release of this game, I can talk about the game that will release on the same day that works very well with Nintendo's new handheld, and that's the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. Majora's Mask 3D is a remake of the 2000 hit game from the Nintendo 64, and a sequel to the beloved The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which many consider to be among the greatest video games of all time, if not the greatest. Majora's Mask, though, is different in many ways, which makes it probably the most unique Zelda game that's been made. There's no Ganondorf this time, and Zelda barely makes a token appearance. And though other Zelda games have had their fair share of dark moments, this one, for various reasons, may be the darkest and even scariest of them all. I've looked at old videos and screenshots of the original Majora's Mask, since I never had a Nintendo 64 and didn't get to play this game. Sorry Zelda fans, feel free to kill me in the comments below if you like. The graphical upgrade is significant, giving the game a somewhat more modern look. In addition, since it's got 3D in the title, obviously the game supports the 3DS's capabilities, and I have to say I was really impressed with how that came off. The only time I turned it off, the 3D effect, was when the kids were watching, I needed to conserve the battery, or I was filming footage for this review. I was a little surprised though that a few times I was actually able to see through walls. This usually happened when I got to the top of an area, usually a corridor. I would actually be able to see like the area in front of me that was behind the wall. Not used to seeing that from a Nintendo game. Usually they're fairly polished. So it was kind of a new experience seeing that, and it's something that you will see with some 3D open world games like that. Still, fortunately, it didn't happen too often, and it goes to show even Nintendo isn't immune to issues with free controlled cameras. I'll still take a few camera glitches over limited camera control though, and speaking of which, the C-Nub works pretty much wonderfully for camera control. Also, the bottom screen is terrific for map and inventory management, providing a constant and useful map and an easy way to manage inventory. Perhaps the most unique and potentially polarizing part of the game is its 3-day cycle. Basically, you have 3 days to prevent the doom of this foreign land named Termina, which we quickly find out is not going to be nearly enough. Fortunately, Link can get and use his trusty Ocarina of Time and gets it back fairly early on, which allows him to manipulate time to his needs. The most important of which, of course, is going back in time to the dawn of the first day and resetting that 3-day clock. Now, this doesn't come without a cost, of course, as Link loses all of his consumable items like rupees, arrows, potions, etc. Although there is a bank that you can deposit your rupees in at least, before you have to lose everything. Most of the progress he makes with the quest also goes away. So basically, all those people you helped in side quests during the previous 3-day cycle, it's like it never happened, which is kind of depressing when you think about it. The time aspect adds certain things to the gameplay. The sense of urgency you feel as the clock ticks away is always driving you to press forward. The clock also allows for time-based puzzles and side quests that are only going to appear at certain times, either throughout every day or once one day in like a 1-hour period. It's a game element that we've seen in other games like Pokemon, Animal Crossing, things like that. Fortunately, an enhanced Bomber's Notebook will help you keep track of the various characters and time of day occurrences that result, even letting you set an alarm if you want to be reminded that something is about to happen that you want to take care of. Alternatively, you can use the Ocarina's Song of Double Time to fast forward you to any hour that you want to skip to. Of course, that brings you much closer to the end of the world. Now, on the other hand, it's an interesting mechanic, but I've always felt that Zelda games were meant to be savored and explored, and not just run through really quickly. Unless you're a speedrunner, of course. And even this game has lots of hidden quests and items to search for. Like, a lot. I could have spent double or triple the time that I did in the game, which was at least 10 to 12 hours, I think, chasing the various side quests available. But I felt I didn't have time for that with this game. And if you like to explore your open world games a bit, you might get turned off a little bit by this mechanic in Majora's Mask. It can also sometimes result in repeating quests if your time management isn't up to par, or you're having a really hard time with that one mini boss in that one temple, which I will not mention because I never want to talk about it again. A couple times I had to repeat fairly lengthy quests because I ran out of time and my success was wiped out by the Song of Time. I won't say I hated the time mechanic, it just changed how I experienced and enjoyed the game. The other major mechanic in play is masks, and while there are many masks that Link can collect and use from various quests, some are more useful and worth the time to get than others. If you're a true completionist, then yeah, you're going to be spending a lot of time getting some of these. And there is a reward that helps you in the end if you do take that time. These masks grant Link certain abilities like faster speed, the ability to blow up objects, and others. There are also masks he collects that let him assume the persona of various creatures, which are key to progressing in the game and getting at areas he otherwise could not reach on his own. This also serves to gate various areas of the world until the story is ready for you to go there. Fortunately, the other aspects that we like about Zelda games are here. It's a very solid action game with dungeon crawling and puzzle aspects, a formula behind a series of beloved games. And if anything, the 3D mechanics fits a portable title very well, providing obvious playing intervals of reasonable length. Now, should kids play it? Of a certain age, yes. I'd have no problems with my 11-year-old playing it, and he's chomping at the bit to get to it now that I'm done with it. My 7-year-old could, and he's also chomping at the bit, which is a good thing there are 3 save slots on it. One for me, one for Owen, one for Malcolm. I'm a little bit concerned with him getting scared at some of the game's darker elements. Plus, even with its enhancements from the original making it a little bit easier in places, the game doesn't exactly hold your hand, requiring a lot of puzzle solving and thinking for yourself, not just in the dungeons. There's a lot to keep track of, and I found myself consulting game guides a few times, one benefit of playing a remake of a nearly 15-year-old game, although I will warn you that they have made some changes to the puzzles, to some of the puzzles at least, for the new version of the game. So if you're using an old game guide or a game fact, it may not be 100% correct anymore, so keep that in mind. There is also a Sheikah stone in your main base that will provide you with the key hints that you need if requested as well, at least for the main quest. That'll help you progress. And while Link does go to town on bad guys a lot with his sword and other weapons, nobody ever seems to bleed somehow. And vanquished enemies just end up exploding or withering away. So that's okay from that standpoint. For me, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D was a way to enjoy a classic that I'd never had a chance to play. For veterans of the game, it's a new way to enjoy a classic that they loved back in the day, with an updated look and a few tweaks that make it somewhat fresh and worth playing again. It's definitely unique as far as Legend of Zelda games go, and requires a bit of a different mindset when playing, but it doesn't make it any less fun, just different. So thanks a lot for watching our review. For more great videos, check out our channel, and don't forget to subscribe to be notified when we publish more videos. And of course, don't forget about our website, GamerPops.com, for more family gaming content. Until next time, I'm Jeff for GamerPops, and thanks a lot for watching.